Well, I am making 2 dishes with different kinds of bugs. The first is a fried rice with super worms, or a type of mealworm. They're a beetle larvae. And I'm chopping up shallots right now. I'm using 3. I think that's a little bit too many for the amount I'm making. I'm using like 1 bag of instant rice for the actual rice, so I like a lot of onions. We're adding some garlic and fresh hot cherry peppers. Hotter than a jalapeno, but like not as hot as cayenne. And they have like a really nice sweet flavor to them. I grew them myself too. The water's boiling. I'll throw the rice in. And while I'm doing that, I'm putting a tablespoon of olive oil into the pan and letting that heat.
Do you need to chop them or anything?
It's said to, but I'm not going to. I was supposed to bake them too, but I'm just going to fry them. I put them into the oil and let that fry up for a little bit so the oil infuses with the peppers and garlic. Once that gets heated, I'm going to put the onions in and then fry in the mealworms. I'm adding the shallots into the pan. And then those fry up a little bit before I add in the mealworms. I'm going to throw in mealworms. And they're still alive. So I'm going to wait for them to fry up a little bit. It's kind of sad to watch. But my rice is done. And once these are all fried up, add in the rice and the egg and a little bit of soy sauce. We got the mealworms fried up with the onions and peppers. I'm going to throw the rice in, which is still kind of wet, but you know, and blend that together. And while that's cooking, I'm going to add some eggs to the other side of the pan and scramble those. I'm just going to scramble these. Once the eggs are just about fully cooked, I'll fold them back into the rice. After that's blended back up, I'm going to add some soy sauce to it. And then to finish it, just a little bit of fish sauce. And that's it. So, it's still like pretty imposing, just like looking at the things. Like, wow, you know, because it's still like a full worm. For some reason, I expected them to have this really horrible taste to them. They don't really have that much, like, crazy flavor to them. It's just kind of soft and they don't taste bad. Kind of sweet. They're pretty good. Guess I'll try some. Next, I'm making pad thai with crickets. One of the staple foods of Southeast Asia actually is insects. Not so much in Thailand, but in Cambodia and Vietnam. A lot of political reasons for that too. But they've become a part of the national diet for a lot of those places. So, this is authentic. I'm first getting the noodles ready. I'm using about half a pound for this. And then, while the noodles are in the pot, I'm going to fry up the crickets and peanuts together. And that'll be a topping that added later on. Once my oil is nice and hot, I'm going to throw in about a handful of peanuts. I bet. The peanuts are pretty much just topping, and they fry and infuse into the oil and add some flavor to it. They're just regular dry roasted peanuts, no salt, no seasonings. And the crickets. These are 2 dozen large crickets. I froze them before using them because if you don't, they're alive and they jump and they put up a fight. So I highly recommend freezing them before using them. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to chop up the rest of the vegetables. I'm using about 4 cloves of garlic. And I like to leave the garlic kind of coarse, but you can mince it as fine as you want to. I really like garlic, so I like getting a chunk of it in my mouth every now and then. And the rest of the cherry pepper. I don't know if everyone knows this, but when you're using hot peppers, the whole peppers, I think people have a tendency to throw away the seeds like they're garbage, but they're not. And most of the heat you're going to get is from the seeds, or the area around the seeds. So you just kind of want to cut up the whole entire thing if you want any kind of heat in it. And an onion. For this recipe, this is a regular pad thai, just like a vegetable pad thai, and the crickets are more of a topping with the peanuts. The peanuts are kind of an additive you add at the end of it. That's kind of what the crickets are for this, only with peanuts too. So I'm frying them nice and crispy, and if you can hear in the background, they're kind of popping, and which is kind of interesting, but we'll see where that goes. The noodles are just about done, so I'm going to drain them. They're starting to get a little brown. They smell like strangely like asparagus. I don't really have an explanation for that, but this one's still alive.
Show me.
He was just moving. Yeah. He like sat up. These are like pretty much crispy. So I'm gonna take them out. Put them into a bowl to set aside for later. Okay. So now I'm gonna add in all of the vegetables, which is garlic, hot cherry peppers, and onion. And while this is, after these are fried up a little bit, I'm going to add in the noodles right into the pan. And I mentioned before that there's political reasons why a lot of those cultures have adopted bugs as part of their lives and diets, national dishes, and stuff like that. And the reason is during the reign of the USSR, Vietnam, Cambodia, and pretty much most of the countries in Southeast Asia were under a communist regime. And particularly in Cambodia, under Pol Pot, people started eating tarantulas out of necessity. And after Pol Pot, fell out of power, people kept eating them because they just became such a part of the diet for such a long period of time. And it was a diet bred out of necessity. And now it's kind of like a traditional dish there. There's kind of a stigma on eating this kind of stuff, and it's interesting to ask why. So next I'm adding in the different spices. So we're using, or seasonings, whatever you want to call them, 2 tablespoons of fish sauce, 2 tablespoons of tamarind paste. And this blends all together. And also, after that's all added in, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. This is about 2 tablespoons. I also blended it with black pepper just to add a little bit more spice to it. And then just kind of stir that in until it's nice and dissolved into everything. And then last, the juice of a lime. This is the finisher to it. I'll take it off the heat. And that's it. And then add on the crickets and peanuts to finish it. All right. I'm not even kidding. The crickets are actually pretty good. They're pretty good. Especially like with everything. They're like sweet and like just have like a really nice flavor to them.
So bugs are sweet.
They go good with peanuts, I guess, because like they're sweet, kind of like how a peanut is kind of sweet. Like not like saccharine, sugary sweet, but just have like a little sweetness to them. That's kind of what they taste like.
So what do you think about this whole experience?
Well, I wasn't like scared of doing it. Everyone I've talked to who's ever like eaten them before says, "Oh, they're really not that bad." But I figured it's the kind of thing someone just says to you, so you'll eat a bug too. But actually, they're really not that bad. And I encourage you all to eat bugs. Yeah.